Hey guys, it's Rachel Castile and welcome to Typology Corner. Today I'm going to talk about the ESTJ type and do an overview from the perspective of objective personality. So I'm going to detail the standard type and the jumper type. The dominant function is extroverted thinking, then introverted sensing, extroverted intuition, and then introverted feeling as the inferior function. So essentially breaking down the difference between jumper and standard. Standard follows the model of MBTI that says that the first and the second function is basically the savior processes, and then the third and the fourth are the demon processes. So our standard type is extroverted thinking and introverted sensing. And our jumper type is jumping the second function and has a savior observation function of NE. So TENE type. So just to show what that looks like, here's our standard type and then our jumper type. Essentially, these types, one is more has a control element because of the introverted observer being a savior, and this type is more a gatherer, the jumper type, the extroverted intuition information. This is a more extroverted dependent type, and this is a more ambivert in between type. So I'll get into those differences kind of later in the video, but just to start, what they have in common. Extroverted thinking is their dominant process. It's their perspective of the world. It's the dominant thing that they're doing most times. And this is a tribe-oriented function. This is a process of being in tune with what is working for everyone else. What is everyone else saying? How are things functioning for the group? And making things more efficient. It's a function that is considering the feedback of others and looking to improve things based on kind of getting a overview, assessing what everyone is saying. It's getting that feedback of, like, for example, if a product is on Amazon, they're reading the reviews and seeing the whole spectrum of, if this product is working, then there shouldn't be bad reviews almost. If this is not working for a certain demographic, then it's not good. We need to innovate it. We need to make it better. That's kind of the thinking of extroverted thinking. So yes, our ESTJ type is a very others focused kind of person. They are much more in touch with others than they are with the self. The dominant life growth thing is to get in touch with their introverted feeling at the bottom and to be more grounded in their personal identity, to be able to make decisions that come solely from the personal values, likes, dislikes, their own moral code, their own just, I like this, and being able to incorporate that in their life and be in touch with that is kind of that, I guess, the imbalance that comes from being so in tune with the tribe. It causes them to be somewhat out of touch with the self and not notice it, or needing to speak and give reasons for the things that they like would be something that they, needing to kind of logic out what they like instead of being able to just kind of own what they like in of itself is kind of the growth path to get to. That is a very healthy place for the ESTJ. But yeah, so what else can I say about that dominant extroverted thinking? Let's see. So yeah, it's a feedback validation sort of function. Starting out, that they find it hard to go against the tribe because they're seeing the effects of things based on how the tribe is functioning. It has an action orientation to it. So it's a very, like, get stuff done sort of function. It is seeing if things are working well, how to improve it. And it's very results oriented. So moving on from there, introverted sensing is their secondary process. And in the standard type, this is a savior. So introverted sensing for them has them being kind of grounded in their memory, in a sense of things that they've been through, things that they've understood, things that have worked for them in the past. It is a function that, combined with the extroverted thinking, it's going back to the tried and true, the things that have worked, the things that life has taught them in their journey. They will be referencing that information regularly as they are creating systems for the tribe, helping the organization move forward. Some people call this type like the executive, the commander, kind of the director, in the sense that these people, they lead organizations really well by getting feedback and remembering that feedback. And yeah, their memory of said feedback is very strong, and they are relying on that heavily as a savior process. Like, that is the dominant observer process that is somewhat leading the or aiding the extroverted thinking in doing what it does. Extroverted thinking is still that dominant function, so every other function from there is somewhat serving the goal of extroverted thinking. Seeing those kind of function together, introverted sensing has a control element to it. It is particular things observed that you've gone through, is experiences that are still present with you. It is past oriented, that how you engage with the present has a lot to do with how you organized and sorted past experiences, and then you're approaching the now from what you've learned from it, what you retained from it, what you kept, to then lead the tribe, to then be of aid to the tribe, to help the people around you. As I talk about tribe can be the organization that you're in at work. It can be your family unit. It can be society. It can be whatever collective group you are serving or representing or you're a part of. You're seeing the whole. I got something in my eye, guys. You're seeing the whole organization, and something that comes naturally to them is seeing the inefficiencies, I think is the best way to say it. It's like, hey, this would be so much better if we change this thing. Everything would flow better for everyone. It's kind of an engineering mind. I like to say engineering because I've seen that as somewhat of a common trait, that types who have extroverted thinking as a dominant function tend to kind of be in engineering. This can be applied in so many different areas, but it's just a good archetype to kind of understand what this process is. It is improving systems for the flow of the organization. It could be the flow of a building. You know how engineering, you got electrical, mechanical, chemical, all these different areas where you're looking at different systems. It could be in construction or whatever, how to get the job site working more efficiently, effectively. How do we really execute this plan? How do we get this project done? So they're very good at leading teams, directing teams. Extroverted thinking does have a commanding element about it. It is seeing what works for the group best. Therefore, in seeing that, it has a commanding way of being delivered. It is, guys, we all need to do this. I can see this is good for all of us. This will elevate the team. This will bring the team to where we're needing to be, needing to go, needing to end up. They're very goal-oriented kind of people. So pairing that with this introverted sensing and this extroverted intuition color, because looking at the ENTJ, which I'll get into in a different video, they are pairing extroverted thinking dominance with introverted intuition and extroverted sensing, which is a very different function axis. than the SINE. So we're looking at the different versions you have within this TE sort of archetype. And the ESTJ, you have looking at the standard type, still exploring it from that perspective, that taking that commanding function, that seeing all of the inefficiencies, let's, let's improve things. I can see how organizationally we can all move forward. Getting the feedback from people, hearing. I've heard it said that this is a question asking function. It is checking in with the tribe. And as a result of that, them being so in tune with all of the feedback, they then can see the breakdowns and how to improve stuff. So it's like checking in with the whole team and then making the systems better for everyone, moving the organization forward in that sense. So that paired with an introverted sensing function that is very memory oriented, it's like the impressions retained from things that they've gone through. They have a good memory for the details, the factual information. They're locking onto the actual real life, real, how do I say it? Things that are in the environment that they've retained. So it's not extroverted sensing, but it does come from that place. It's a fixation on the factual information and organizing it. It has that, I guess the difference is it's organized facts instead of just gathering facts, gathering in new. It's a system of organized perceptions that it's a form of seeing. It's a form of observation. So that observation is aiding the extroverted thinking in our standard type as a savior. So they are relying on that information. They're relying on things said in the past. They are relying on how things went in the past. They remember the past experiences. And that SI has a traditional element. It doesn't mean that they are traditional in maybe like not evolving, but it can be honoring of things that still function well, and they are referencing past experiences in order to learn, in order to choose what to do next. That is the dominant form of information being relied upon to then take action on. So the more experiences that they have, the more their SI gets more and more developed with new information in it. And that's coming in from the NE. So as a starting place, just looking at TE and SI working together, you do have a traditional past-oriented memory function that honors the things that it's been through. The thing, like, it has a nostalgic element, I think is the best way to say it, that the things from the past that have a positive association to them. SI is based on their own personal organization of the things that they've been through, not everyone else's. It is an internal process. So things that they liked, things that really has a positive association. It's an associative memory. I think I don't want to make it sound like it's FI. So the FI that they do have is their personal likes and dislikes. Just a guttural, I like this, I don't like this sort of thing. So SI isn't that, but it is, however it got organized, the perceptions are like, these were positive things. These were things I don't think were good experiences. So they're honoring all of the experiences and living from that place. So this really can vary. This is why we're all so different, because we all have very different experiences and we all categorize them, organize those experiences differently. So, but relying on SI, it does have a control element. From when you organize things, it then you have a preference of what you're going to engage in, what you're going to replicate, because you're honoring internal perception. Extroverted perception is just taking it in as it is. So it's more of a gathering, just I want to experience new stuff sort of thing. But um, SI savior people has more of a preference on experiences because they're relying on a sorted version of experiences and not just direct engagement with new ones, if that makes sense. It's a starting place. So we're all growing. It just shows where the type is starting from. So in contrast, let's go over to our chart just to kind of help with the visuals of this. So what I've described is the use of this with NE being a demon in the standard type. The FI is a demon as well. In our jumper type down here, we have a different flavor of a ESTJ. This ESTJ is more of a gatherer. Extroverted intuition is something that they are more comfortable using, and the SI is more of a demon. So this person is going out and getting new experiences a lot, and when things get uncomfortable, they go back out and gather more instead of the organizing, in a sense. Like, this is more of a demon. And so this is a more like perceiving sort of like a P instead of J type of ESTJ, that they're more out there, they're more pinging with the tribe and staying in that more extroverted place. So yes, they're in tune with the reasons, the logic of the collective. They're moving around with that. They're staying congruent with what's going on in the tribe, and then they're also taking in new experiences, and it's this abstract way of interacting with the world. So it's not just like SE is more just directly just what it is, taking it in. And this is a more abstract, seeing the connections and things, new ideas, brainstorming. There's a imaginative element to this extroverted intuition, that they are more open to, like, hey, no, tell me something that's not in my box, something that I don't already know. Not the tried and true information, but what do I not know that I'm seeing in the moment, and I'm entertaining those ideas. So it's a more intuitive sort of ESTJ, being open to the abstract information coming in and kind of chewing on that and making decisions aided by an intuitive, in the moment sort of process. So this is a more extroverted ESTJ, more kind of quirky, I'd almost call it, like liking the in the moment, whatever connections happen sort of ESTJ. And yes, they have SI. This is as an EJ type, a tribe dominant decider. I haven't really said that word, but ESTJ is a dominant decider type. They are in tune with people. They're that is their dominant thing. So they're out of touch with self. But the gift that they have is double observation. I've covered in other videos the observer types, and their gift is double deciding. So their deciding's imbalanced as a decider, but their gift is seeing all sides of things. They're seeing the organized information, and they're taking in new information as well. They have, yes, one is a savior, one's a demon, but they're still both there. They're not having freakouts over the information. Observer types can kind of get a little bit, have freakouts. Like, oh my gosh, there's missing information. And these types, yes, there might be something that they don't see or don't understand, but that's not the turbulence in their life. Our EJs and our IP types are more balanced in their observations. But still, within that, they have a preference for one over the other, that we have a dominant organizing type and a dominant gathering type. What else can I say about our gatherer type? So yeah, they're not spending as much time in their inner world. They're not going in and honoring the past, honoring the things that they've been through. They have a more exploring sort of nature to them of like, nope, I need to go back out and look at something I don't know. I need to look at some new ideas, new ways of looking at things. I need to read something I've never read before. I need to hear something that's intriguing. I need to expand beyond what I've been taught in the past, the tried and true information. Our jumper ESTJ is out there exploring and gathering and wanting to hear something that's going to be intriguing to them, that's kind of stimulating the imagination, the intuition, and using that form of perception most dominantly to navigate their life, to make decisions. It's aiding the decision maker that is the dominant function. So this is a very decisive person who is then using their observation function to aid the decision making. But still the dominant trait is being very decisive and leading and directing groups to improve the groups, to improve society, to improve their family. And they are using a certain form of observation to help in achieving that goal. And so that's a bit of a difference. So the thing they have in common is the demon function of FI. And I want to share a few examples of what that can look like. I kind of mentioned it before, but something that they struggle with is being in touch with their own personal values, knowing what they like and dislike, knowing what really matters to them. They can be very in touch with how to improve things, how to make things better. They can see all the intricacies in something and how to just, they can see the logic of things, but might not be that in touch with, do they even want to be in the organization that they're in? Do they, does this have any personal value to them, to their own identity? They can be out of touch with processing their own emotions, or it can be overwhelming to them processing their emotions. If they feel emotional, they can want to back out and not know what to do with it. Or it can be difficult to make decisions against the tribe out of their own personal identity, their personal likes and dislikes. And that is a growth path for them, that as they get more in touch with that, they become more balanced. And that is kind of their life, like, whoa, I really, their epiphany of life. Like that is, when they're able to start doing this is kind of their hero's journey of overcoming this. It's going to be in the ETJ story. The ENTJ and the ESTJ, this is kind of how they evolve. It's like I learned to say no based on my own stuff and to live true to myself. I've learned to get in touch with how I feel, with my own emotions, to honor my own emotions, to honor my likes and dislikes. They have a tendency to overly justify their personal values when it is really coming from a personal value. They'll use logic and reasons to justify something that the real root of it is just they like it or they don't like it, is the core thing that's going on. But will feel inclined that they are obligated to explain to the tribe, to give reasons for it, they can wrap their FI in logic, because it still has that tribe connection as a dominant process. Connection is their dominant human need. Connection and validation and being a part of community, functioning in community, improving community, all of that sort of stuff. So it still has a justifying element of like, I need permission to like what I like. I need permission to choose what I choose. So it's not that they actually need permission, just them being so tribe focused. They can talk in a way of giving lots of reasons when the core thing was just purely just a value at the bottom. And so yeah, growth for them is just being able to make a value decision, not have to justify it, and to live true to self in the midst of serving the tribe, in the midst of serving the collective. But they are a very logical mind, a mind that wants to explain things, wants the tribe to be able to process their FI in a way, is a tendency to still do things with TE leading the ship. And that's the imbalance that they have in common. So yeah, ESTJ, what else can I say about them? They kind of, this is somewhat of a blind spot. They can not see their impact or what they're doing when using TE sometimes. They have a very, like, it can be domineering, I think is what I'm saying. And it can be something that they don't see, and it's not, I think it's unconscious with the process that is seeing what works for other people, and then as a decision-making function, it has made a decision, and its goal is to implement and to bring to pass the thing that is the conclusion they have come to lead the group in that direction. So this comes from seeing something, seeing inefficiencies, seeing things that can be improved, that need to be improved, and from that perspective, pushing to get that done for the sake of the collective. And it is an action function. It's not just, oh, this is my decision, my personal decision. These decisions are related to the collective. It's a leading of others process. The types of things that they wind up getting involved in has a lot to do with moving society forward, moving a company forward, moving the family forward. It is a task-oriented, goal-oriented process. And just a bit of a blind spot is their FI is really their identity, but they're leading with the process that is kind of pushing on the tribe or being out there in the tribe, or depending on what the sexual modalities is, it kind of colors it differently. If the extroverted thinking is feminine or masculine, that's another element within this type. But yeah, it can be something that it's just something innate to them, and it's helpful just to understand the place that extroverted thinkers are coming from, what they're doing in their process, in their decision making, what their goal is. And they are somewhat of they're marshaling people in a particular direction for the betterment of the whole. And that's just how they're wired. It's really an awesome gift, and it's very needed in the world. And I guess somewhat of a growth path for them is getting that feedback is very valuable for them. They are feedback seeking, but also the more, let's actually do it through the lens of this. We're going to talk about growth for standard and growth for jumper. So it's a bit different. For our standard type, growth for them would be taking in new things, getting new, making new connections, new information, gathering in more. Because again, I said this SI is driving a lot of what the TE goes out and does. This is kind of the known information. Need some water. This is the what life has taught them, what they've learned. And then it's like their education that is telling them what decisions to make. It's what they already know. So growth for our standard type is to actually gather in things that's not in the known box, because them being a decisive leader, commander, executive sort of archetype, the more they can expand and get new things when they do lead, which they're wired for leadership. That's who they are. But gathering in as they're going out and getting that feedback, taking in that new information, hearing new perspectives, hearing new abstract connections between things, it's going to expand the SI. The SI is going to get more and more detailed. Those facts will start to incorporate new things. And the more observations that they take in, when they do go to lead, they will lead in such a way that sees the whole spectrum. It's very educated in what they're doing. So that's growth for our standard type, is to gather more and control less, or organize still, but don't just fully rely on what's already known, what's already been organized. The more you can take in new things, your organized cabinet of SI memories, details, facts, will make you a better leader, essentially. And again, the same growth in the FI area is to honor your personal values, to spend time getting in touch with the self, to unplug from the collective, be okay with being by yourself, getting to know the self, and to make decisions that how do I say? Make decisions that are true to self, and be able to like grow in exerting that in the face of the tribe, if that makes sense. If you're such a tribe focused person, it can be difficult to say, guys, I'm going over here, y'all going in and go do that. I'm staying true to this. This is my values. This is where I won't budge. This is what matters to me. This is my code. This is right and wrong for me. And I have to step away. I have to walk this other path. I have to, it could look like I'm leaving this organization because my heart really is over here and I need to stay true to that. And yes, I'm going to lead. I'm going to use this extroverted thinking process for the rest of my life, but I'm letting FI guide what I select, what I'm a part of. This is what I believe deep down. This is my personal values apart from everyone else. It's a very personal, individualistic function. FI loves what it loves, doesn't like what it doesn't like, and ESTJs need to let themselves go there and let themselves make those personal decisions, not apologize for it, not have to justify it, but just stay true to it, live by it. And yeah, that is freedom for them. That'll allow them to have healthy interactions with the tribe, healthy connections with others, because it's not at the expense of just being totally out of touch with the self. But I know what's going on in the world. I've adjusted with the reasons of everyone else's thoughts. Society says this, so I'm going with what society says. Their logic, their reasons, their understandings of things, and staying with the trends of things, knowing the market, but FI is knowing the self in the midst of that and incorporating that in the life that you live, is the best thing an ESTJ can do for themselves. All right, so in contrast, growth for the jumper type would be to actually organize more, to get inside and to honor the things that they already know, and to not always think that they have to go out looking and searching in order to make a decision. To have to go, take in something new is what they're used to, so they can, get more settled and spending time in organizing the things that they've been through, the things that they've experienced, the facts, and living true to that. And spending more time in their inner world is valuable for our jumper type. That it'll create a more more of a stability in them, in seeing both sides of the information, to kind of become more grounded, I think, in honoring what they've been through, honoring what they've learned from life, and it can kind of slow them down a bit. Kind of listening for just good advice within that. As a jumper, they are more extroverted. And again, I don't want to make it sound like the saviors is something negative. It just is the go-to. It's the thing that's comfortable. So there's, they're not really using the other muscle. So, yeah, it can be valuable for the jumper type to really spend time organizing and honoring what they already know, making a decision off of that information, and not needing to jump around constantly whenever, they run into a problem in life. They can actually go into the known information and look around in that and not have to go binge on new. That they probably do know the things that they, that they need to make a decision. That, yeah, it's kind of just getting more internally organized, spending time making sense of their experiences, making sense of the things they've already heard, the things they've already seen, relying on what life has taught them, and incorporating that in their life, incorporating that in their decision making, incorporating what people have already told them, what people have already said in their life, as they're gathering in things related to the tribe. They can trust that known information that they've gathered a bit more, instead of needing to take in new to make decisions. So it's a bit different. I am not an ESTJ, but I'm just kind of thinking through what that looks like for our jumper type. Relying on the tried and true facts of the situation, of life, of their past, of things that you could almost call it like things from their childhood, being in touch with just their own life journey and what is embedded in that, in their experiences, and looking within that, organizing it, sorting it, and incorporating it in their life. It's an area of perception. These are perceiving functions. So it's not the decision maker, but this is a dominant decider. So this stuff will be educating the decisions that they end up making. So, and again, they have that same the same advice on getting in touch with the self is true for our jumper and our standard type. So that's about it for the ESTJ. This is a really awesome type. I love their clarity of expression. Personally, I love the level of detail they speak with. I have an ESTJ in my life. I'm almost positive. I'm not saying names, but I definitely value their presence. I value their decisiveness, the clarity in which they speak with, their attention to detail is really awesome. And this type has a high blast orientation. Everybody, could have a different animal stack, but when this type does blast, I do value the level of SI detail that they lead with. That very, there's a realism about them, that they comb through the details, they value the details, and lead with those details. And I think that's really incredible. And yeah, y'all are awesome people. Y'all have great senses of humor. The extroverted intuition in the third position is pretty quirky and funny, and it can be kind of silly. So they have a cool sense of humor. the quirkiness, I guess. I do like seeing how the extroverted intuition manifests in the ESTJ. Also, the ESFJ has that third function of extroverted intuition. Again, the jumper type will be even more that way. Just kind of giddy, silly, quirky sense of humor in their extroverted thinking. It colors it that way. So, and embrace your individuality. Embrace the things that are personal to you, and come to a place where you can just like what you like, enjoy what you like, and discover yourself, discover who you are apart from the collective, apart from the groups that you lead, apart from society. Explore what is personally valuable to you, and you'll just become even more amazing and inspiring to the groups that you lead as you get more in touch with the self. So I think that's it for you guys. Thanks for watching. If you got value out of this, go and give me a thumbs up and subscribe for future content. I will continue to roll out the rest of the 16/32 types, the core objective personality types. And if you are interested in personal coaching or being typed, getting help with discovering your unique type, look in the description below and click the typologycorner.com link. You can book a session with me, and I'd love to meet with you. I do it on Zoom, meet for an hour to talk through whatever you'd like to. I offer different types of life coaching, and yeah, it's all on the website. So for more information, go ahead and head over there. And what else? I think that's about it. This stuff is really awesome. Get in touch with seeing your giftings, seeing how to grow. Oh yeah, this is something else I wanted to say. Check out the cognitive function series. If any of these functions are kind of fuzzy to you, you don't really understand what they are, how they function. Yeah, so you can kind of touch up on any of these cognitive functions. I've got that playlist on the channel. So yeah, head over to the channel, click on the playlist category, and then go to the cognitive functions. And I've got a video on all of the 8 cognitive functions. So, but yeah, guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Take care.